Yep, there we go. Okay, good morning, beloveds. If I'm a little weird today, I'm a little weird every day. If I'm a little more weird, two reasons. One, Gabby is in my lap. My 20-year-old cat is sitting in my lap. You may hear her make a comment. You may not. I don't know what she's going to do. And the other reason is because I went to a play yesterday. I am friends with a couple of people who founded a nonprofit theater group. They had their Shakespeare in the Park yesterday. It was a beautiful park because they did the Mercer Arboretums. It was a beautiful play. It was 12th Night by Shakespeare, which was really interesting because I'd never seen it before. But it was 55 degrees and very windy. Very windy. Yeah, really windy. So, yeah. Now we bundled up. I had a coat and a scarf and a knit hat. And by the end of it, I was cold too. Because, you sat there for 3 hours. Okay. But Shakespeare in the Park. So, all right. We are going to finish up chapter 13 in the Voice Celestial today. But before we do that, we're going to do real quick housekeeping. And all that means is that we can go back. No, I don't. Hang on. It's Monday and my brain is, yesterday was a lot. Housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, that the website is creativelife.org, the constant contact email of which you get basically one a week. Unless something unusual happens, because I like to remind people we do live in hurricane country. And the weather's been really unpredictable because I have turned my air conditioner on. Like, my air conditioner was running on Saturday. We turned the heat on Sunday. Okay, so that's that. Hang on. The email, info@creativelife.org. You get, the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information. And it is a blind CC, so nobody will get your information. Nobody will see, you won't end up on anybody else's mailing list. This is what I'm trying to say. I am not very coherent apparently this morning yet. It was really hard to get out of bed. And I've already been for a mile walk, so, social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias, but we don't monetize the social medias. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do is go like, subscribe, share, follow, comment based on which platform you're on. It will bump us in the algorithms, which we very much appreciate. Yep, the heat just kicked on. You might like that, baby girl. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Let's, there. Oh, almost. There you go. There you go. That's Gabby, my 20-year-old cat. So I'm grateful that the sun has come out. Because yesterday it was cloudy and that's part of the reason why it was so bloody cold. Okay. All right, Gabby, you gonna let me do this? You help? You're gonna hinder. I'm cat. I'm gonna hinder. All right. So we are, as I want to remind you, we are in chapter 13, Jesus, the last of the great masters. And we are starting with the Farer. No, I'm sorry. We are starting with the scribe. The Farer spoke as one who talks in sleep and draws old memories from the treasure deep, with love and longing, or whose desire to keep the fleeting vision of some beloved face. The Farer. Stay thou with me, O Christ, and by the grace of God I shall through thee become aware that heaven waits for him who finds the altar stair. For there God is, and he is everywhere. And Jesus said that everyone must be as perfect as the Father, and must see that perfection lies inherently in every soul. It is the Father's will to give you the kingdom. He will fill your heart with heaven now, Today thy soul be with me in paradise. Be thou made whole. Abide in God, and ye abide in me. O Christ of God, let me abide in thee. The scribe. The Pharaoh's ecstasy seemed all but spent, but looking up, he saw in wonderment convulsive shaking of the astral scene, and Jesus stood at once, it might have been, in Galilee with children singing, and they had clustered round and held his hand. Permit the children thus to come to me, for in the kingdom they shall ever see the Father's face. What sweet simplicity! And he who saw the face of Jesus knew that in that face he saw the Father too. Who sees the Son, the Heavenly Father sees. Bow down, O soul, bow down upon thy knees. Not to one Christ, but every Christ within. The mind of man behind the face of sin. A God. My claim to God, why this I say, that ye are gods, and ye are gods always. If he said this to those who sought to murder him, doth he not say to you, do not bedim the inner light? You are not made of sod. Man is divine. Man's other name is God. The scribe. The Pharaoh saw or felt himself projected unto the scene before him, felt connected with past and present and the future too, and stood above himself and seemed to view the stream of life eternal flowing through his being, and it seemed to him that he was faced either way into eternity, and found in Jesus prototype of man, whom God conceived before the ages ran, into the dark, dead waters of the sea, or death or fear or of futility. The Pharaoh felt that Jesus took his hand and led him on and up to higher land, and showed him all the wonders man can do who worships God for soul and body too. How practical the master who had said, ye cannot live alone on daily bread, yet still ye must have bread and wine and meat, and fed the hungry sitting at his feet. When the fishermen were sore beset, he showed the place where they should cast the net, and from the mouth of one great fish he drew a coin to pay the taxes for them too. How practical he was, how simple was his word, yet oft in parables to enemies absurd, but to his friends encouragement and hope, a glass through which to view, an astroscope, to bring all heaven in sight to mortal eyes, to show the domes and towers of paradise, the sower and the seed, the talents of pure gold, and how to multiply and make them manifold. The scribe. Another mood was on him, and he paused to wonder how the Christ employed the laws of cosmic consciousness, and by his birth had brought some part of heaven down to earth. More likely still, a greater gift was given. He scooped and lifted up the earth to heaven, and Jesus' speech was tuned to simple things, the lilies of the field, a bird on wings, a sparrow's nest, the children in the streets, who played the hours away with dancing feet. How childlike minds of oft unlettered students confound the wise who boast of jurisprudence. The Pharaoh. Must I, who soared in rarest atmospheres, to heights where earth had shrunk till it appears a swinging pendulum to measure out the years, must I, a master of humanities, be taught in simple parables like these? The presence. Yet that is life, but living day to day, not in uncommon, but in a common way. A deeper search reveals the subtlety, so often concealed beneath the simplicity. Such occult meanings in the allegory of payment to the workers in the story of the vineyard, where the toilers for a day receive not more for labor than the pay accorded those who work 1 hour alone. Yet here a principle is clearly shown. When once a man makes contact with a power, it works for him, unmeasured by the hour. The law is just and equal the reward for those who once made contact with their Lord. Once is forever to him who contacts truth. The scribe. On Jesus' face, the Pharisee fixed his sight, longing for the wisdom of the Nazarite. The Pharisee. I do revere thee, so simple and so wise, and many are the parables that I do symbolize. But most of all, the story of the son, the prodigal, the wastrel. I was one. With him I lost my way. But when at last I found myself stripped down to primal me, I woke within the Father's house to see that I am Son of God, eternally. The presence. This is the story of an awakened man, a sweeping dream of all evolution. Who has the eyes to see, the ears to hear, shall know a world behind this world, and he shall sometime enter in thereat, perhaps, with other eyes to see and ears to hear. The soul possesses much, but man must build a soul to house his self, where he shall take his way among the stars. See how it grows. The mustard seed is small, but from itself evolves, expands, putting forth its limbs, gives simple shade and shelter for the birds. The flowers giveth not in parts, but as a whole. And from the first, it is totality. My Father is, and he and I are one. The scribe. The Pharisee, gazing on the astral scene, could not in clarity discern between the Christ, the presence, and himself, for he recalled the words deep hid in memory, but lost a while through failure to obey. The voice. Let your light so shine on men that they shall glorify your Father. It is true that the same light that shone through him shines through the soul of every man whose lamp is set, where men can see upon the parapet. Light thou the lamp of truth, and lift it high. Give bread of hope to every passerby. To him who gives, a greater shall be given. The gift of faith and love and of God and heaven. Have trust in me. Whosoever believes in me shall find the springs of life within, and he shall never thirst. The waters are supernal, a fountain stream that flows through life eternal. I am comfort in the sorrowing. I am shepherd to the sheep. I am water to the thirsty. I am rest and peace and sleep. I am soil and fruit and harvest. I am wisdom to the wise. I am seed by faith unplanted, which bears fruit in paradise. The scribe. And then at last he knew, beyond the reach of earthly consciousness or mortal speech, that Christ and God and self-identified were truly one. The Christ had never died, and he who finds his life within the me has found his place within the Trinity. The panorama trembled, and the form of Jesus seemed half shadow and half light. as clouds appeared translucent and opaque in part in the sole body of the Christ, which he had built with density so deep it could be seen when he was visible to his disciples following the death of body, so called on the cross, began to move away. But as it moved, the multitude moved with him. All the followers of Hermes, all the sacred throngs of Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Moses, Zoroaster, Orpheus, Plato, and Pythagoras, and the seers of far-off China who named Lao Tse, Fu Qi, and Confucius, and who worshipped Zacatal, lead on by Can and Call, the founder architects of ancient Yucatan, and all these and more. I saw them all in one vast multitude, beyond the reach of numbers or of name, save that each standard bore insignia for the triune deity, the Father, Mother, and the Son. Well, that was an ending. So we'll move on to chapter 14, which is the Song of the Father. Now, he said a couple of things in there that bears repeating. One, the notion of the perfect. What I want to remind you is perfect doesn't mean flawless. Perfect means whole. It means it's all included. Okay? He also made reference to wine and bread and meat, and made reference to when Jesus fed the multitude. Which I found really interesting. It's like, look, I am the bread and the wine, but I get it. You have a body now, and we still need to feed the body. So let's do that. It's like, don't deny yourself. It's like he's reminding you not to follow the path of asceticism. Feed your body, nourish your body. And then he also talked about the soul. Now, one of the interesting things about Ernest is he only believes that there's one soul. Okay? There's only one soul, and that is God's soul. And each one of us individualize a small portion of that soul to ourselves, which is why I think he made the comment about building our soul. Now, how do we build our soul? That's kind of the idea. That's what Science of Mind is. It's about waking up, being aware that you have a soul, and then your regular spiritual practice where you go and touch that soul and remember that it's part of something greater, that you are part of something greater, that you are literally made of God's stuff. We don't, every now and again we'll get the charge, oh, you think you're God's. No, we don't think we're God's. We think we're made of God's stuff. We're made of the same stuff of God that God is made up of. We're just tiny. Sometimes I like to call it splinters of the divine, because we're tiny. But we're still made of divine stuff. And maybe it's time we act like that. So, yeah. Okay. That's that. I gotta go. And that was a wrap up. So, all right, beloved. Told you I was outside all day. All right. So here's where I'm just going to I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, an enchanted day, wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A take care of business day. Let's get this week started off right day. A cuddle your fur babies day. A take care of yourself day. Have some bread, wine, and meat, whatever that looks like for you day. Both spiritual and, nourish yourself day. Drink plenty of water day. Bundle up day. Enjoy the cool weather while it lasts day. A good day. And if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You're spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time. She's got this really interesting purr right now. At your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right. Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9:15 tomorrow. We will pick up with the voice, with the song, I think I said the Song of the Father, chapter 14. All right. I normally do the, and I can't because I got a cat in my hands. See, right there. She's got a really grumpy face, doesn't she? But if you were 20 years old, you could have a grumpy face too. She's more than 100 years old in cat years. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.